Good morning, faithful women. Is anybody else as thrilled as we are to be back in the sanctuary, back inside, celebrating each other? Well, I'm Suzanne Willey, and
I'm Laura Langdon.
And together, no, we won't do that. We are the co-moderators here at Village, and we're fortunate enough to work with so many of the faithful women of Village, including the co-chairs and their committees of this wonderful event today, Beth Brame and Sharon Volashek. Would you please stand so that we may thank you for all of your hard work for today's celebration.
Next, we'd like to recognize the committee members who have helped make today happen. Please stand so that we may thank you. Marilyn Burrell, Leslie Conrad, Dee Couch, Vicki Graham, Laura Hobbs, Shelby Crum, Lisa Mann, Cheryl Mormon, Michelle O'Neill, Janie Shephers, Rebecca Seiferth, Diane Stanley, Kelly Thomason, and Carol Tucker. Smile for her when she aims at you. Stand up, everyone. And Chef Andrea Bradley has prepared something tasty for you all to take home, and we really thank her too. She worked really hard in the kitchen for us, and you will be a beneficiary of her dedication and generosity as you leave. Also thanks to the wonderful Marvy Snegus, whose musical talents are making today all the more Marvy.
Well, you may have noticed that when you registered online for today's event, that there was a donation button. In addition to helping cover the cost for this event, we would really love, as faithful women, to do some good beyond this sanctuary. The Village Food Pantry serves so many of our brothers and sisters in the community, and we feel that we have a great opportunity to contribute. Dennis Cobb is our wonderful new director of the Food Pantry. You may have read about him in various Village publications. He's here today to tell us more about the needs of the Food Pantry and how our generous contributions can help. Dennis?
So I'm really here to say thank you. For a lot of reasons. Number one, thanks for being a force in the church. I look out here and I see the group of women gathered here, and I've been in the church long enough. I have a background in ministry as well as other areas of working and what have you. I learned early on, PW is who you need to talk to first. So thank you for gathering and inviting me to this event. And thank you also for recognizing the Food Pantry as the recipient of your offering this morning. Besides the financial gifts, our greatest asset at the Food Pantry is our volunteers. The other thing I see out here are several of the volunteers, faithful volunteers at the pantry. Many of the men and women that volunteer there commit to coming once or twice a week for a shift. And it makes for an interesting time as the director to have to figure out all the different groups of people, my colleagues that I work with every morning and every afternoon, since they change every time I go in there. But I have learned that without them, we could not function as a food pantry. And just to give you an idea, I just finished doing the reports to my advisory board for the month of March. We had 160 volunteers in the pantry during the month of March. And those volunteers represented 1,634 hours of work. So you can just see how important it is that we have volunteers. The great part about all of that is that those volunteers meant, and your gifts, financial gifts, meant that we could serve 632 households in the month of March alone. And those households represented 1,143 individuals within those households. So you can see the impact that the food pantry is having. When I took this, I've only been in this position about a month. And when I took this position, it was great because I could overlap with the outgoing director, Susan Webb, who many of you I'm sure know, retired, and she made it to Colorado safely. Any of you that know her, she made it to Colorado safely. Has moved to Colorado to be closer to her daughter and grandchildren. And I'm sure if she were here, she would want to send her greetings. But I've only been in this job for about a little over a month. I had great tutoring from Susan. She had the pantry running smoothly, and through a period of pandemic and helping families make it through that, helping volunteers make it through that. We're kind of our own little community out there in the food pantry with our volunteers. And it was a joy to come here and interview for this position and realize how well run and how well organized the pantry is. And it's great to have folks like you that recognize the need in the community and recognize how important it is for us to have your financial support. If you want to come visit the pantry sometime, I'd be glad to show it off. You should come and have a tour sometime. Just give me a call, and I'll show you exactly what we do out there. And if you're really interested in the pantry, I take names for volunteers. And if you'd like to, I just started, one of the new things that we're starting at the pantry is a newsletter every couple of weeks, primarily targeted to our volunteers. But if any of you are interested in knowing what's going on at the food pantry, you're welcome to be on our email. It's an emailed newsletter, so you're welcome to be on our email list as well. So thank you again. Thank you to PW and to the women that are being recognized here today. I think it's a great event. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Carol Solenberger, and I am the co-nomination chair for PW, meaning this is the last of my 3-year commitment as co-moderator. Sandra Stevens is my partner and my friend, but unfortunately she has a sick kiddo today, so she is at the doctor with her son, but she is here with us in spirit. So you get to hear my voice the whole time. So we are pleased to present the new slate of officers that will join the Presbyterian Women Board for the year 2022-23. Our bylaws require that this is a general membership vote on the nominated slate of the PW board members. When we introduce the following women, I ask that you please stand. So our messenger editor, Sarah Thomas, which I see. Village on Antioch representative, Karen Reimer, and Karen is actually traveling for business, so she's not with us. Circle Activities Coordinator, Sherry Robeson. Thank you, Sherry. I see you. Christian Activities Coordinator, Elsa Aguilar, who is also traveling, and she's not with us today. And then our Spiritual Growth Coordinator, Stephanie Morrison. And I know Stephanie's here. Yay, Stephanie. All right. We shall now call for a motion from our nominating committee. And Ann DeFeo has given that motion. Yes, thank you, Ann. Motion by Ann. So since this motion comes from our nominating committee, we do not need a second, but a voice vote is needed from our general membership. So all in favor of this slate of officers, can you please say yay? Yay. Any opposed? And if you do oppose, that means your name goes on my list. So just saying. So this motion carries. Congratulations and welcome to our newest board members. So thank you to these ladies. So I just want to give just a couple shout outs too. So Ann DeFeo and Kenyon Vrooman are also on our nominating committee, and we could not do what we do without their help. So a big thank you to Ann and Kenyon. And then just before I kind of turn it over, just on a personal note, I just really want to say this is my last time I get to talk. I know, sad. But on a personal note, I just really want to say thank you. These last 3 years, and actually I think I've been on the board for about 6 years, but it's really been just a treasure for me. Meeting people, interacting with people, learning new skills, just getting to do things that I normally would not have gotten to do if I hadn't said yes. So I'm so thankful for the opportunity and just grateful that I get to know and work with each of you and, of course, Sally, on a regular basis. So just grateful in my heart, so I just want to say thank you, and I know Sandra feels the same way. So with that said, we will now continue our celebration by singing Blessed Be the Tie That Binds, hymn 306. We're going to sing verses 1, 2, and 3. Enjoy the day.
After I say a couple of things. Wait.
Sorry.
Carol.
Oh.
You're so wonderful, and Sandra is too, and we have a tough act to follow.
Oh,
We
you're sweet.
have had a tough act to follow, but thank you so much for everything you've done,
Oh, you're sweet.
for
You're
everything you continue to do. Hadn't planned, that wasn't in the script. It's always dangerous when you go off script. Whew. Well, we are so excited to welcome the new board members, and we look forward to working alongside you in the coming months. Today we celebrate these faithful women who have agreed to use their gifts to serve PW. We celebrate being able to use our financial gifts to support the food pantry and our neighbors who shop there. We celebrate the gifts shared by 4 particular women who have already given so much time and love to Village Church programs, as well as those who have received the honorary lifetime membership recognition in the past. And there are a couple of them sitting out there today. Hi. We celebrate our faithful, fantastic speakers today. You're in for a big treat. Look around. Celebrate the fact that we are all together. While we are each made up of different patterns and shades and designs, we are all connected to and by God. Blessed be the tie that binds us together. Now, let's celebrate by singing.
It is now time for our presentation of our new PW Honorary Life members. Since 1959, Village Church has offered a PW Honorary Life membership to individuals in recognition of faithful service in some area of the church's work. The funds sent to the PCUSA on behalf of these honorees are used for women in Presbyterian leadership development and for educating leaders for mission interpretation and support. This honor is bestowed on individuals who embody the mission of Presbyterian women, building an inclusive community, growing spiritually, working for justice and peace, and emerging as a new creation in Jesus Christ. Each honoree will receive a beautiful pin signifying their life of faith. The overall design is a butterfly, the symbol of newness in Christ. The caring, supportive hands represent building an inclusive community of Presbyterian women. The leaf represents growth of our personal and corporate response to Jesus Christ as we nurture our faith. The dove indicates our work for peace in our lives and throughout the world shown in the globe. At the center of the design is the cross, by which our sins are forgiven and we are freed to live in Christ, who is the center of our lives.
Rhyme time. We have 4 special women to recognize today. They're outstanding, so let's not dilly-dally. Suzanne will present our first honoree, the incredible Linda Alley.
I'm just going to tell you, I'm not rhyming, okay? Because my timing is bad, and that is sad, and that's all I'm going to do for you. All right. I could not be more honored to present my dear friend, Linda Alley. I have known her for about 9 years, and I know that because that's when I joined the church. I remember meeting her, and she is as much of a magnetic personality with a zeal, and I mean zeal, to connect people then as she is now. When I met her, she said, "It's great to meet you, and oh my gosh, I know all these people you need to connect with, and I know these groups that you're gonna love being a part of." And I thought, my gosh, this girl's on fire. And I know you probably have read in her bio, and you maybe have heard her say that she was a shy little girl growing up. But she has gone from shy to shine just like that. And in all the steps of her way from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania to Overland Park, Kansas, she has landed on her feet, rolled up her sleeves, and dug right in for caring for people. Because that's what she does, and that's why we're honoring you today. This girl has a heart of gold. And when she landed here at Village Church, she met the love of her life, Steve Alley. And they had 2 beautiful children, Kristen and Connor. Kristen's here today. Connor couldn't be with us, but he is in spirit, I know. Or streaming. Thanks, guys. At any rate, she wasted no time. She became an ushering deacon. She was an elder. She served on session. She's been on all kinds of committees. She's been a Stephen minister. She has taught Sunday school. She was even moderator all by herself. Oh my gosh. We don't know how you did that. She has done a lot of things, but you know, as much as I could stand up here and give her a resume to you all, I think it's more important what's behind that, and that is her love of God. This woman has a heart after God. She loves on people, and she knows exactly how they needed to be helped. In fact, she loves on people not just in Village and not just in the Kansas City area, but halfway around the world. She went on a mission trip to Thwake Village, and she just loved on those people. She is one that has leadership qualities, that it's not about being large and in charge, it's about motivating and inspiring and just getting people to understand their capacity and reaching their potential to listen to what's at need. What is the need? What do you need to do? And we're going to help you. That's who she is, and her footprint is all over this church and all over this community, not just in a professional capacity, but in a voluntary capacity as well. This girl, if you look at all the things that she does, is just laced in poise and in style and grace. That's who she is, and we love her to pieces. She is all about character, conduct, and conversation that emulates Jesus Christ, because that's who she is. She is full of faith. And I'm sure as you're seeing pictures on the screen, you can see that as well. So before I say any more, I just want to say that we love her. She deserves this, and I am so honored to be here presenting for you. But I will say, as much as Linda is a leader, sometimes she can be boss. And I mean that in a fun, cute way. I do. You know, she's a connector, and I will always love Linda because she connected me to my fiance about 3 years ago, and I am forever grateful. Thank you. But as we were dating, we'd only been dating for a couple of months, and Rob had a few people over to the house, and so I was a little bit late. Linda was already there, and I walk in and I say, "Oh, it's good to see you, Rob. Thanks for having me." And he said, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here." And this one gets off the couch, she puts her wings on, and she says, "Oh, for gosh sakes, just kiss her." Okay, Linda. You can do better than that, but oh well. You don't remember that? I'm not here to talk about your memory, honey. But as excited as we are, thank you for all that you've done for Village Church and all that you continue to do. You are truly, 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 truly deserving of this honor, and we love you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Suzanne. I love you so much. To those who brought my name forward for consideration, to the board and all the women involved in this incredible event, thank you. There are dozens of inspiring women who have come before me who have been awarded this honorary lifetime membership, and to think that I'm considered to be in their esteemed company is really surreal. I'm inspired not only by those women, but also by my co-honorees, Lexa Carr, Julia Scammahorn, and Cindy Wilcox. I must thank my wonderful friends and my incredible family. My family's support, encouragement, and love has given me the freedom, the wings to do so many of the things that I've done. Without their enthusiasm and their go for it, I never would have gotten involved in the things I've been passionate about, much less go to Kenya on a mission trip. Lots of people, events, and things spark curiosity, enthusiasm, and the desire for exploration. Village provides many of those opportunities to all of us. Being an elder gave me the opportunity to learn about our church, our history, our polity, and the chance to steer our future direction. When I accepted the offer to serve as your moderator, little did I know what a fantastic gift that would be. I met so many women who are compassionate, hardworking, and blessed with unique gifts. When we work together, it is a sight to behold. I continue to be impressed and proud of what PW accomplishes. Each and every woman at Village Church is nothing short of amazing. And because of this fact, I am all the more astonished that you think I am deserving of this award. You have honored me beyond belief, and you have touched the core of my heart. Thank you.
When you can't open the little zippy, you just rip it right off. Here we go. All right, my dear. Oops. By the way, these floral arrangements, thank you so much for providing these for our recipients today, are yours after we are finished with our program. There you are. Thank you so much.
Such a treasure of Village Church, but she's just one of our rock stars. Now, let's hear from Becky Anderson about the amazing Lexa Carr.
Okay, that's hard to follow, Suzanne. She didn't use notes. But here we go. A few years ago, I was asked to take on the role of co-moderator-elect for PW. I wasn't sure I was up to the task, but when I was asked about the job, I was assured that the woman who would be my partner was fantastic, and they thought we would work well together. They wouldn't tell me who this person was. Well, you know how Presbyterian women are. They love their secrets and surprises. But how right they were. I liked Lexa the minute I met her, and I have come to cherish her friendship dearly over the years that have followed. Our working together on PW will always be a treasured memory. So it is an honor to be able to share with you the faith journey of this kind, gentle, and beautiful woman, Lexa Carr. She is the embodiment of what it means to be a faithful Christian woman. Lexa has grown her faith from a lifetime of Presbyterian influences. She looks for and sees God's light in the people around her and in nature as she loves to take long walks. She says this is where her heart is happiest. She and Scott also love to take long road trips where they meet new people in new places. They love time spent at a table with friends and family. Lexa has a generous heart and brings love and joy to all those who know her. Several years ago, Lexa decided to solely devote all of her volunteer hours to Village and listen to how God called her into service. She has always felt the call to serve her community, and she began early as a candy striper when she was a teenager. Since dedicating her service to Village, she has taken on many roles, and when she takes on a position, she does so after much prayerful thought and consideration. Then look out, Lexa's a force, and she'll do whatever she's asked to do and so much more. But we'll get back to her many jobs in a moment. But now let's take a look at her journey. And her journey has been filled with love, faith, laughter, joy, and some challenges and heartbreak. The three most important areas of her life are faith, family, and service to others. Lexa was born in Carthage, Missouri, the only child of Peggy and Chet Lloyd. Peggy's sister Maxine and her family lived only a couple of blocks away, so Lexa grew up having a lot of adventures and exploits with her three cousins. She says they shared everything, including report cards, and I'm guessing there may have been some competition there. Lexa has gotten her spunky side from her mother. She recalls a time when, after a big snow, when her mother grabbed a bucket, filled it with snowballs, and ran down the street throwing snowballs at the kids playing. After high school, Lexa went to a community college where Scott Carr also went. Scott is from Carthage also. Lexa says she knew Scott in high school, but it's at the community college that they fell in love and became engaged. Then Scott went on to the University of Texas in El Paso to finish his degree, and Lexa went to Wichita State to finish her degree in dental hygiene. They kept in touch on school breaks and by writing letters. You know, people actually used to do that. They were married in 1977 and moved to El Paso, where Lexa began her career as a dental hygienist. She lived in El Paso for 8 years, and that is where their beloved daughter Erin was born. From there, they moved to Topeka, and that's where they welcomed Peter to the family. Another move for a job change brought the family to the Kansas City area. Along the way, the Carrs have many happy memories of their times at the Lake of the Ozarks. Lexa loves riding a wave runner. She says skimming across the water early in the morning is magical. And she said Peter could actually take a wave runner airborne when he jumped the wake. A few years ago, Lexa and Scott sold their Lenexa home and moved to a condo just off the plaza. Lex was concerned about missing her garden. She says she always needs a creative outlet, and gardening is one of her favorites, along with painting, cooking, and sewing. And since Scott has just retired, she may begin picking up the golf clubs again. But she has since created a lovely container garden on their large terrace. And Erin has given her permission to come attend plantings in her yard anytime she wants to. Erin lives with her fiancé, Lauren, and is a joy to her mother and father. Lexa often speaks fondly of her girls. Tragedy struck in 2008 when their beloved son, Peter, passed away on their anniversary at the age of 23. Lexa found herself in shock and struggled to speak or even breathe. She says she will be eternally grateful for the many friends that took over their home with their daily lives by being present, feeding them, and loving them. She is also forever grateful for Scott, who carried her through those excruciating days, even though he was hurting too. She derived much strength from him. A mere 3 months later, Erin was in a car crash that left her with 27 broken bones. She was lucky to be alive, and Lexa wondered how much more would be thrown at her. She felt like she was lost in a wilderness. And in the words of our pastor, Tom R., wilderness is a testing place. It's where the word of God is questioned and the ways of God are doubted, but it's also the place where the faithfulness of God is learned. This is when she and Scott decided if they were to live in God's promised day, they needed to start working on that day now. Lexa looks forward to the day when she will once again see her son. After several years of worshiping at Village, they joined the church, and Cindy Wilcox tapped them to be deacons. And from there, they have both been avid volunteers at Village. Lexa has been ordained as both a deacon and an elder. And during her time on the session, she was the stewardship chair and worked very closely with Molly Searage, who was a director of stewardship and endowment. From those years together, they have gained a close and enduring friendship. She has also been on the Monday Flower Ministry for many years, along with Judy Thomas. They make floral arrangements from the chancel choirs to be delivered to a hospice house. This is a favorite of hers that she gets to use her creative side. Then there is the Liturgical Art Committee, the Memorial Gill volunteer, Memorial Garden volunteer. She's helped at Habitat for Humanity Women Bills Day. And she is also a member of a Connect group, just to name a few of her other gifts to Village. She is now beginning a 3-year commitment on the Pastoral Care and Counseling Committee. One of her favorite jobs was being on the committee that searched for and found the Reverend Jenny McDevitt. Someone is always asked to be the new person's liaison, and so she became Jenny's village person and helped her with whatever she needed. From that experience, she's also formed a lifelong friendship. Another favorite of hers was being on the executive committee for the Village Golf Classic. She served on this for 10 years, and it was a natural fit since she's played golf since she was 12. Her dad, what she tells me, was a scratch golfer and taught her a lot. During the time on the committee, she learned a lot about the Dominican Republic and wanted to see and experience it for herself. So she went to the DR 4 times with the January team. Her first trip was eye-opening to witness a more global experience of the needs of the least of these. She says, my heart was opened up to the vast needs of all these people. Those experiences are times she will never forget. Lexa has a compassionate and loving spirit, and that's why she committed her service to them. She says, however, even in poverty, there were fun times and joy to be found. There was even dancing. And did you know that Lexa loves to dance? Just play some Motown sometime and watch. In closing, I would like to say what a privilege it is to know Lexa, to see her radiant smile, and to be a recipient of her generous and faithful heart. And Lexa, in words that will be familiar to you, may you live forward with courage and hope, reflecting God's light always. Congratulations, my friend.
that was a lot. So I too, remembering those women that stood before us, my heart is overflowing with gratitude for this honor. Even more so standing with these three saintly women of Linda, Julia, and Cindy, as they are witnesses to their faith with grace and joy at every encounter. These ladies are like Esther. They are bold, courageous, standing tall, and each created with purpose. Thank you to this organization of PW Women, all those that were involved today, Miss Sally and her friends. For so many of us, it is a blessing to be an instrument of God as we listen to God's call to serve our church and beyond. A few years ago, I heard Caroline Kennedy speak at a leadership luncheon and was moved by what she had to offer. It does not take any qualification to serve. It only takes your faith, love, and opening your heart to act. This speaks to me and the reason why my church efforts are so diverse. I love this church, I love to participate, and I love the people I've met through this journey. All these moments are cherished ones, and ones I could not have fathomed without God's guiding light. It is said that God uses our greatest pain for his greatest calling. That is truly my story. I listened, I opened my heart to act, made myself available, gave of my time, and learned any calling can be transformational. I will continue to do so. As for those that walk beside me daily on this path are my husband, Scott, our favorite daughter, Erin. They are my love, my light, my joy, my energy, and always Peter. With participation here at Village, one makes an exceptional group of people, now friends, who inspire and bless you. As Becky mentioned several. It began with Clarence Munch and Jim Tilden with the Village Golf Classic. These learned men taught me for 10 years what leadership looked like while having fun in the midst. In addition, the DRMP January team leaders, Scott and Jenny Beal, plus our queen worker bee, Sarah Gilson, revealed a compassion unlike most I had seen. Now, let it be said that Jenny McDevitt was a gift in itself. To have the privilege to make that first call was extraordinarily providential. That dear one can make liturgical language dance like no other. More importantly, I have a lifelong friend. And then there's Molly Sarridge. I'm sorry she's not here today. Her brother-in-law passed away and she's needed with her family. But we started that friendship journey 12 years ago while on the stewardship committee, and it has lovingly evolved into a fun and dear relationship I know will last a lifetime. As for my personal life and being an only child, my steadfast girlfriends have filled so many roles in standing with me and moving me through this life, in good times and in hard times, and they are with me today. Sorry. My Texas girls, Kathy and Jackie, asked to fly in for this event. We've known each other for 44 years, which speaks volumes to our enduring friendship. We have shared births, deaths, moves, belly laughs, everyday occasions, travels together, plus so much more that I can say or are willing to say. My dear friend Betsy is here as well. For 25 years, she has laughed with me and at me, taught me, shared adventures, planted seeds in me, and the one who walked with me daily through life's hardest moment. A true gift of the heart. So I'd like to share this lovely quote from an unknown author. God never loved me so sweet a way before. 'Tis he alone who can such blessings send. And when his love would new expressions find, he brought thee to me, and he said, behold, a friend. This is the unexpected and delightfully treasured gift from God and Becky Anderson. Our pairing for our journey in PW has resulted in a dear friendship only he could have imagined. We've shared a lot on this path. I've witnessed and admired her uncompromising grace, faith, wisdom, and humor. And for this, I am and will be eternally grateful. It is hard to put into words, to say grandly enough, thank you for all these gifts, for all these people. But I do have to say thanks be to God.
Get the next one ready.
They secured it.
Well, it seems that Lexa has done it all. She's really quite a big deal. Julie, she is. Talk about other big shoes to fill. Julia Scammahorn's service is also a wow, as we'll learn from Michelle O'Neill.
Good morning. I'm the lucky one that gets to talk about Julia. If you've got one friend like Julia in your life, you've got all you need. She is there for her family and friends when they need to be carried. She is physically there with a listening ear, a hot meal, a bundt cake, or dark chocolate. Showing up is her love language. She will make time in her busy calendar, which is usually overflowing, just for you. In a busy world, she will pick up the phone, which is sometimes aggressive in these days, right? She answers her phone, and she will mail a sympathy card. On more than one occasion, she has carried me through a difficult time. And I know that I am just one of dozens of people that can say that. I stand back, and I'm not going to be able to look at you. I'm not doing that again. I stand back and marvel at the way that she models not only Christ's compassion for friends and family, but for the stranger. Julia does not shy away from putting her faith into action, and she does the good that is hers to do, particularly when it comes to issues of anti-racism and gun violence and social justice. As Tom is fond of saying, hope is an act of courage, and Julia has courage in spades. She would be the first to admit that her enthusiasm and her tongue have gotten her into hot water. But that boldness is her superpower. Julia has leadership in her blood, and she makes any organization stronger with her knowledge, her inquisitive spirit, her sharp wit, and her faith. The list of her contributions to Village Church and to the community is a mile long. She's done Junior League, she's been a session elder, she's been on mission committee, Operation Breakthrough, Sunday school, a Stephen minister, but she would never ever boast about it. There are few people more plugged into her community or with more meetings on her calendar. I'm not even sure when Julia sleeps. Julia grew up as a child of Village Church. They moved here from Edmond, Oklahoma, and she was in 4th grade at that time. She attended worship with her mother and father, Joyce and Jack Scammahorn, and her sister, Joy Beth, who's here. She was baptized here during her 9th grade confirmation ceremony and attended Sunday school and youth group and youth choir and mission trips, including the 2nd youth trip to the Dominican Republic. She went on to major in journalism at the University of Missouri, Columbia, where her curiosity was put to good use. Having served here in so many capacities, and having grown up here as a child of Village, she is literally part of Village's fabric. And now, she and her family have been vital members at both Village on Antioch and Village on Mission. They give their time and their talents to the ministries of Kansas City and abroad. Julia and her husband, Guilherme, are consistently demonstrating to us all what it means to live a wholehearted, purpose-driven life. There is no doubt that their children, Christian, Isabella, and Juliana, will follow in their lead. If you have even spent a minute with any of those kids, you know that the seeds are planted and they're already yielding fruit. If you're in their home, you might actually hear any of these 5 languages being spoken: English, Portuguese, Chinese, Japanese, or Spanish. Many pundits will talk about the death of organized religion. Attendance is in decline, millennials are leaving, progressives and conservatives are at odds. But people like Julia challenge those notions, and they give me hope. They remind us that Christianity has weathered bigger storms, that cowards are the ones who walk away, that light always defeats the darkness, and that showing up for a friend is medicine. I know that the church has lots of life and glory left in her, thanks to disciples and friends like Julia Scammahorn.
I would like to say ditto to what Linda and Lexa said, because they prepared very well, and I have to trust in God that I will say something very eloquent and profound right now. But just hearing everyone speak, thank you, Michelle, so much. I just kept thinking about people. And I started my faith journey in Oklahoma City, actually, with my grandmother. I spent the summers with her often, and she would take me to her circle, which was the young group that never transitioned into the older group. And I would sit in the corner. You guys know what I'm talking about. And I would sit in the corner, and she would just take me, and I would listen to the women speak, and I would deliver meals with her and go to fellowship suppers. It was a small church, Southminster. Anyway, I just think about Tommy Jean, my first Sunday school teacher, and people letting me take communion before we thought that was okay when you haven't been baptized, and just all the things that I learned as a youth. And then came here at a young age, and I was that kid who had the hard questions that the people didn't know how to answer, and they let me be me. And this church has always let me ask tough questions and raise my hand, and everyone has loved on me and made me who I am. And my parents, my mom who's here, my dad, my sister, my whole family, my best friend, Jessica, and friends that don't even go to this church who came today, and I love you guys so much. Thank you. It means a lot to me, and all of you all. It's overwhelming, and I just am full of gratitude. So thank you all so much for being here, and thank you for being the people of God who let us shine by helping each other. Thank you so much.
Shining your light and sharing your caring heart. Next, we honor our beloved Cindy Wilcox, a woman whose love and dedication are off the charts. Neither Cindy nor her presenter, Jean Doherty, could be in town with us today, so please direct your attention to the video screen to hear what they both have to say.
I'm Jean Doherty, and while I'm sorry that I can't be with you in person today, I'm delighted to be here to present my friend Cindy Wilcox at your event for Faithful Women. For the last 16 years, I know that many of you here at Village have become firsthand experience with Cindy's commitment to her role as your Director of Connectional Ministry. But today, I hope to provide some insight as an FOC, or friend of Cindy's, for the last 27 years. Cindy grew up in Salina, the big sister to 3 brothers, and while they live now in different cities, Cindy sees them frequently. She's also a loving daughter, sees her parents regularly, and most recently has been traveling to Salina to assist her mother with some recent health issues. I first knew Cindy in 1996 at Second Presbyterian Church, where I was an elder and Cindy was hired as the program coordinator. I really learned to know Cindy's energy and enthusiasm for ministry as we worked on the evangelism and outreach committees, and Cindy was instrumental in helping to launch a new alternative worship service and also to help in connecting members to one another and also to service opportunities. She also was a huge support to a new hire, our associate pastor, Catherine Price, and not only were they colleagues in ministry, but grew to be fast friends. After 9 years, Cindy accepted a position here at Village, and that left a void at Second that, I'm sorry to say, has never been filled. But lucky for me, Cindy and I remained fast friends. I've benefited from Cindy's interest in leading an active lifestyle as we walk together on the trails and in each other's neighborhoods. And she also, in the past, has been a swimmer and has done a lot of working out, but recently has become an avid cyclist. Cindy has a love of a good meal. I like to say she's a mindful eater. She savors the textures, the flavors, as well as that shared opportunity of a meal with someone. And while she's a very healthful eater, she enjoys a good dessert as well. Travel is another passion of Cindy's, and she assisted here at Village on many trips, going to Italy, the Scandinavian countries, Grand Canyon, the fall foliage trip to the Northeast, just to name a few. And she and I have had some fun travels to California, to Chicago, St. Joseph, Michigan, and to Atlanta. Always the one to be connecting people. In Atlanta, Cindy introduced my daughter to her home church, Trinity Presbyterian. As an FOC, or friend of Cindy's, be prepared to be cared for. I know that many of you here experienced her sincere outgoingness when she greeted you at a morning worship service, maybe facilitated a small group that you attended, handed you a meal on one of those Wednesday night drive-through dinners, or maybe led you to a food truck on one of your special events here. I know that I am on Cindy's prayer list, and that's a good place to be. And I can expect a text from Cindy if we haven't heard from each other for a while, and I'm the recipient of many of her thoughtful cards. And Cindy's cards are unique. It's almost with her big, loopy handwriting, she's giving you a big hug and a smile through her sentiment. I am grateful for the opportunities that the leadership here, the staff, and the congregation have given to nurture Cindy's talents and abilities and her gifts. In a recent sermon, Tom talked about as we live our faith, we need to be sure that we are, as we do our kindnesses to people and our service to people, that we're establishing relationships with them and connections. And that is certainly one of Cindy's gifts. So thank you for celebrating her and letting me be here to celebrate her as one of your faithful women.
As I stand here today, I feel like I'm at home. I'm overwhelmed with gratitude and love for my friend Jean, as well as my friends Pat, Susan, Charlotte, and Carol, who have all helped to form who I am today. I'm grateful for PW, Presbyterian Women, the Celebration of Faithful Women Committee, and the work that they've done to put this event together, and for the privilege of honorary life membership offered to me. Since my retirement in January, it's become incredibly clear that my identity will always be connected to this place, to you, to the people of this congregation. My heart feels like it's an overwhelming overflowing treasure chest of memorable, teachable moments. That's the best way I can describe it. But the most important treasure is the intimate conversations that play sometimes like movie reels in my head with friendships that I've developed, the relationships that I've developed, and the people that I love. I'm retired now and building a new life, but I will carry this love in my heart and my soul forever. Thanks be to God.
Cindy. We'll meet with Cindy in person soon to give her the gift and her pin. So deserving she is of all of our love, we can't wait to celebrate her again. Incredible women surround us at Village. How fortunate we are to share the bond of friendship and sisterhood and unity that exists within these walls and well beyond. Let us continue to joyfully celebrate our connection to each other. Let's hear it as we open our hymnals and hearts to sing about how we are one in the Spirit.
So already this morning, we have heard evidence of God's hand at work through the lives of these 4 amazing women. And we want to invite all of you into a conversation about what we think Presbyterian might really represent. Holy women supporting holy women. When women get together and pray, it seems that God listens particularly closely. You all know this. One of the things that we Presbyterians believe is that our God is a triune God. Our God is 3 in 1 and 1 in 3. This means that God is in community with God's self. Some Christians like to describe the Trinity as a dance, with each person of the Trinity holding hands and dancing together in a rhythm. Well, today I am here with my friends Kari, Pellegrino, and Elizabeth Meador, and we're here to talk about our own dance of community. We want to reflect to you through our own experiences about what it means to recognize, sustain, and to grow holy friendships. That is, friendships that aren't simply surface-level acquaintances, but that are so meaningful that they reflect the divine community of the Trinity. Truth be told, we are so excited and honored to be up here talking to you today. But in all transparency, we're doing this out of bravery, because each of you know what it is to have a holy friendship. We've already heard about 3 of them this morning. So talking about something that is so close to you and so meaningful is sometimes scary.
Well, also, talking in front of people is scary.
Actually, I love talking in front of people. I'll talk in front of anyone. The reality, though, is that we are 3 very different people, but 3 very different people can still share a solid and unified friendship. For instance, 2 of us up here present every Sunday. 1 of us is present as a hospital chaplain every day.
1 of us works here, 2 of us don't.
2 of us are introverts. 1 of us is an extrovert.
2 of us are tall and brunette. 1 of us isn't.
2 of us are Southern, 1 is not.
All of us have been taught in seminary to preach.
1 of us is up here because they made me.
It's true.
Yeah, we did.
So what I'm convinced of is that at its core, what Presbyterian women as an institution seeks to be is a bunch of holy women gathering together to build holy friendships that dance in the larger dance of the Holy Trinity, Creator, Redeemer, and Sustainer. So we now invite you into our conversation about how to recognize, sustain, and to grow holy friendships.
When I first came to the Midwest, I was rather lonely. My spouse and I were busy establishing our identities as new clergy and pretending to parent our first child. And I'd experienced a few promising friendships, but they went as quickly as they came. And I never really felt like I fit in with them anyways. Elizabeth and I had met in seminary, but it wasn't until she got called to a church in the Kansas City area that we connected. And as young couples, we went out to abuelos and friendship began over queso. Sally and I met for a professional lunch that ended up lasting for 3 hours. And then after that, she began calling me on the phone, and it took me a while to figure out what she was doing. She was calling just to talk because she liked talking to me. Elizabeth and Sally felt different. I noticed that we naturally danced at steady tempo. I didn't have to posture with them. I didn't have to try to impress them. Have you ever had friendships like those? As we three connected, we wanted to gather together with our spouses as young clergy friends over dinner. I've experienced a lot of social rejection in my life. I was so nervous. I didn't want to mess it up, and I didn't even know how to cook dinner for 6 adults at my house. I fumbled with the pancakes, and who messes up pancakes? With my anxiety, I do. Sally and Elizabeth, they're experienced cooks, and they just kind of smiled at this anxious novice. It was no big deal. I did not have to know what I was doing. I didn't have to fit in with their life experiences or their expectations for me. No one needed perfect pancakes. I didn't know or recognize the steps of this dance, and I didn't even know the music. I struggled to trust that they would want me around. And yet, in their easy way, they showed me hospitality in my own home. And I was welcomed to a movement of dance that has freed me to belong in this marvelous friendship. We enjoyed the normal friendship stuff for several years. Meals in and meals out, play dates with kids, birthdays and holidays. And then this friendship radically deepened when my life radically changed. In 2017, it became apparent that Alzheimer's disease had come for my mother early and severely. My beloved mother, the one who raised me by herself with so much love and devotion, she had already survived so many obstacles, and now Alzheimer's would be her end. I'd been trying to get her help that would allow her to stay in her home, but that December I got word that there was no clean water in her house, and there was no way to get clean water in her house. In 2 weeks, I was back in upstate New York, packing up the disheveled house, my childhood home, in 4 days, and moving my half-gone mother to my home. I did this all 3 months pregnant with my second and on a broken toe. It was a fairly dramatic upheaval to my whole life. Sally and her wife Karen gave me their Southwest miles to cover the airfare, and Elizabeth was at my door with casseroles before I finished telling her what was happening. Still, I thought this would be the last I'd see of my delightful friends. Why would they choose to spend their free time with a pacing, erratic woman, an energetic, demanding toddler, a crying newborn, me covered in breast milk and who knows what else, while my husband and I frantically ran trying to keep everyone fed and clean? It was so hard every day for years. I wanted to leave me. Holy friendship doesn't abandon. Holy friendship isn't fair weather. Holy friendship makes space and brings life. Elizabeth didn't leave. Sally didn't leave. They stuck with me and told me that we are stuck with each other. I saw them for the first time all over again. I saw that this holy friendship was going to help me survive. They organized, bringing food and babysitting. They spoke to my mother with patience and affection. They loved on my children. They pretended to be me while I sat there unable. They pretended to be me on the phone while I sat there unable to make one more phone call through 4 maddening rounds of Medicaid paperwork to get my mother into safe placement. Sally and her mom talked me through the guilt of putting my mom in a nursing home. Elizabeth came with me on the horrible day of actually bringing her to that nursing home, which became this immediate transfer to a geriatric psych unit. In Elizabeth's words, y'all, it was bad. They were with me during the long goodbye to the only parent I have ever had. They held me, and they held me when I was too numb to move and too numb to dance. They were my first call when my mom died about a year later. They came in full Southern glory with margaritas and queso to write thank you notes to the team who'd cared so well for my mom. I didn't even need to know the etiquette of writing thank you notes. This novice griever could rely on their hospitality in my own home. They helped me begin to live in this world where my mom is not alive in it. It's a whole different dance I have not had to do alone. One of the ways that I recognize that this is a holy friendship was through the stickiness of it all. Recognition happens at multiple times across the journey. Yes, we all got along well, but it was seeing us dance together as a connected unit during one of the hardest phases of my life that helped me to recognize that this friendship wasn't just something fun. It is holy.
Once we identified that this friendship is something really holy, it's something special, the next step was and remains to sustain this holy friendship. They don't sustain themselves. And so we've established a very intentional rhythm of support for both each other as individuals and also for this collective dance of friendship. First, we very intentionally make time for each other. About once a week, we get together for what we call family dinner. It's about 4 or 5 hours on either a Saturday or a Sunday, and we meet at one of our houses, and we just pile together the kids and the spouses and the dogs, and we enjoy each other's presence. The structure varies depending on what's going on, but there is always good conversation, pastor shop talk, and usually queso. Second, about once a month or so, we take time for just the three of us. Coffee, lunch, a movie, the rare overnight retreat away from our families. Our families are important, but so are just the three of us. So is this little trinity of friendship. Third, and you're gonna think I'm crazy, we have a group chat on our phones that's been going on for 8 years. And we use it almost every day. We use it to check in, to complain, to rejoice, or make plans, sometimes just to share hilarious memes. In a lot of ways, it's the group chat, the daily communication, that's the glue that keeps these three very busy, usually very exhausted friends in a regular rhythm of communication. Those are some of the dance steps we've agreed upon, but sustaining a friendship requires improvisation as well. Life isn't something that usually respects our well-planned choreography. For instance, at one of our regular dinners about 3 years ago, actually at the Chipotle here in Prairie Village. I'm from Missouri. We were in Kansas, we were having queso, that's all I know. Somewhere around here, we were having dinner and we were troubleshooting some problems in my life, as many of our conversations go. And Kari and Sally helped me see for the first time with total clarity that my marriage wasn't struggling, it wasn't even failing, it was over. And it had been for a while. I do not know how long it would have taken me to see that by myself. But they led me through the steps so that I could get there. And when I got there and needed somewhere to live, Kari and Sally and her family let me move in with them almost the whole summer and let me bring my dog too. When I needed help packing up my ex-husband's things, Kari came to my house and boxed it all up. They have both held me when I cried. They have fiercely challenged my own self-doubt. They have listened to me vent. And they even forgave me when once, while venting, I accidentally taught one of their children a very bad word. Sorry, Sally. Even now, I do sometimes have feelings about my divorce, and they are there for me. Sometimes I get stressed out about dating because apparently I have to do that again. They continue to sustain me through all of these unexpected changes in my life. This friendship is one of the things that helped me experience my divorce not as devastation, but as transformation, maybe even resurrection. So, sustaining a holy friendship takes thoughtful choreography and practice. Because when you have those down, you can improvise in all sorts of delightful ways. We keep showing up for each other, even when the dance seems kind of basic, because that prepares us to show up when things go completely sideways. Sustaining this kind of friendship is a constant, determined, shared practice of grace. So this combination of a shared practice of grace as well as an improvised make it up as you go moments, it leads us directly to growth. This growth happens within our own selves, but also as growth within the trinity of this friendship. In many ways, Kari and Elizabeth can hold me lovingly accountable to things that I cannot see in myself. A few years ago, I was working in a particularly stressful job. No, it wasn't here at Village, I promise. And I couldn't talk about the specifics. I couldn't say who or what was happening or when it was happening due to confidentiality and professionalism. Yet both of these amazing women were able to see how deeply hard this job was. And they continued to remind me that I was not dancing my usual dance. And what I remember most is them reminding me that they loved me and that they supported me, even if they didn't know every single detail. We were able to dance together with boundaries. And yet we could tap into this intuition of the divine rhythm and the divine dance. It was beautiful. It's the beauty of people loving you so much to gently hold up a mirror and ask, are you moving as freely as God has created you to move? They reminded me that I was not dancing the way that God had made me to dance. And they were able to reach out, hold my hands, and remind me to listen to God's holy rhythm. So I wonder, in your world, who are the friends who have helped you grow as individuals?
And who are the friends who have helped you grow into God's own love for you? A second way that we have found growth in God's holy dance is that we are constantly inviting people into this dance. I remember a couple years ago, a time when another close friend of ours was getting a divorce, and he and his son were invited to every family dinner every single week. Now, they only came about once a month, but the steadiness of the dinners and the closeness of the families created such a safe space, a friendly space, a welcoming space, a loving space for them to be. In addition, one of my absolute besties from seminary has just moved back to town, and there was never a doubt in my mind that she was not going to somehow be a part of this dance that we've created. So we would work to listen to her rhythms and to feel her beat so that her family could join into this dance that we were dancing. So the day they moved in, we showed up with supplies and pantry staples. We took care of her toddler so that she and her husband could at least pretend to unpack in relative sanity. It has taken time, but there is enough room in the dance for others to join. But as remains true, as you all know, is that I cannot control the growth. I cannot control who connects with whom. I can't even control if people like each other or not. What I can do is to remain in the dance with these two beautiful women, even when I feel nervous, and even when I feel uncomfortable and unsure of myself. And to let God the Creator, God the Redeemer, and God the Sustainer take care of all the rest. So now I wonder for you, who are the people that are being invited into the dance of your life?
As Presbyterian women, we believe that each of us are made in the image of God. You, me, all of us are made to reflect who God is. And if God is in eternal community, if God is in a heavenly dance, if God is in holy friendship with God's self, then we, human beings created in God's image, are invited to be in holy friendships as well. The friendship that the three of us share certainly does not mean that we have it all worked out, nor does it make us super holy by any stretch, but it does draw us closer to God. This holy friendship we share gives us an everyday glimpse into God's coming realm where everyone is loved. All are valued in their similarities and their diversities, and where we can all live in step and in harmony with one another. PW is in many ways about crafting holy friendship. You've heard about it today. You've also heard about all the stuff you do in PW, but you know you don't do it for stuff's sake. We do these things to grow relationships so that each of us may establish our own dance steps with one another. It is a very holy thing indeed when we support one another. And so our prayer for you as Presbyterian women, as the church, simply as children of God, is that you would recognize, sustain, and grow holy friendships with one another and join in the life-giving dance of the Holy Trinity. Joy, blessed be the tie that binds. Go now from this time, knowing that you have indeed encountered the holy, and we can continue to seek and to find the holy in friendships and connections with one another, and for showing love to God's people. So now may the grace of the Holy Spirit, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you today and all days. Alleluia. Amen.